name's D. Wayne, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the 41st Annual Mayor's Arts Awards. Before we get started, to really get our celebration rolling, please welcome the Lincoln Arts Council Board President, Tom Massey.
I promised David Clark this would be 45 seconds or less. Welcome this year. A couple of changes. This year the program is shorter. However, it is an awards program, and during the Academy Awards or the Grammys, they cut to commercial, and at commercial, people stand up, you don't see it, and they go get a drink, or they go to the restroom, or they readjust their makeup, or they change into another outfit, all of which you're welcome to do. You don't have to sit there the entire time. So if you need to reapply your makeup, if you need to get a drink during the awards, please do so, okay? The bars are there for a reason. Don't feel like you're trapped. Again, thank you for coming to the 41st Mayor's Arts Awards. We appreciate all of your support. When you come here and help us celebrate all the artists in Lincoln and the community, it helps fund so many programs that we do here in town. So this is not just for show that you do this. It really does help us. So thanks once again, and thanks again to Mayor Beitler for many, many years of service to the arts in Lincoln. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Deb Weber, the Executive Director of the Lincoln Arts Council. As Tom said, I want to welcome you to this evening. We have an amazing board of directors and a small but mighty staff that appreciate all of your support and your help as we try to connect our community through the arts. So thank you so much for being here. This is a really special night for us tonight. Mayor Beitler and Judy, we are so fortunate to have you here. Back in 2007, we had the Mayor's Arts Awards in June, and that would have been Mayor Beitler's first Mayor's Arts Awards with us. So tonight is his 13th time for this, and I think that in and of itself deserves a round of applause. So at this time, Mayor Beitler, would you please join us on the stage? Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
I tell you, I can't think of anything that's been easier than being here that many times. I used to have a little button on my desk that was given to me by some office equipment company that said easy, and you could just punch easy, and it made a wonderful sound, made you think you were zipping along. So this has always been easy for me. And I want to thank all of you here tonight for this Starry Night celebration where we celebrate some of the stars in our community who make the arts shine in Lincoln. And I want to begin by congratulating all the award recipients tonight. We're inspired by their work, by their accomplishment, and I look forward to presenting to each of you the original paintings by our talented Lincoln artist, Stephen Dinsmore. He couldn't be with us tonight, but he's offered some really beautiful awards here for the awardees. I want to also thank all of the sponsors, Deb and the Lincoln Arts Council, of course, their staff, their board, all of their volunteers, Premier Catering, their staff, and the staff here at our beautiful Pinnacle Bank Arena. This is the last time that Judy and I will be presenting the awards, myself as mayor of this city, so it's a little bittersweet. But for us, this is so important. It's not just a fun and festive event. It is an important event because the arts are truly important to our lives. Economically, the latest arts and economic prosperity study conducted by the Arts Council showed that Lincoln's nonprofit arts and culture sector generates $99 million of economic activity annually. That supports nearly 3,000 jobs and generates $9.8 million in local and state government revenue. It all goes far beyond dollars and cents. We know the arts can have a real social impact in a number of ways. Study shows that participation in the arts helps improve academic performance. The arts spark creativity and innovation. They also help create a unique sense of place in our community that attracts visitors and improves the quality of life for all that live here. They can speak to our current social atmosphere, they speak to our history, and they can speak to our values. So, you are here tonight because you too understand the power of the arts, and I thank you all for the many ways that you contribute to having a vibrant arts community here in Lincoln. The theme of tonight's celebration was inspired by the great Vincent van Gogh, one of the most famous painters in the history of Western art. You all are aware of that. He's inspired songs and movies and continues to influence artists worldwide. So I wanted to recite tonight a few words from his misunderstood genius. He said, "For my part, I know nothing with any certainty but that the sight of the stars makes me dream." That's one personality trait that artists tend to share with public servants, I believe. We are often dreamers. When I became mayor 12 short years ago, I had many ideas on how we could work together to improve public safety and transportation and economic development and a lot of important areas in our life. And I also had dreams for our arts and culture community. Wanted Lincoln to be known as a city where you could find the best in performing visual and literary arts, as well as in sports. And I want to thank everybody in this room tonight for sharing that dream and for working together to strive for that goal. As I prepare to leave office in a couple of weeks, I have one more thought, one more dream that I want to share with you tonight. Consider it my final mayoral request from our arts community. As you may know, we have set the stage for a major new development in the South Haymarket, including a plaza and a park that describes and will encompass the south end of Canopy Street. And we envision a major piece of public art there, one to anchor the south end of Canopy Street. Am I with you? I am. All right. Are you with me? All right. I would like this art piece to recognize some of the biggest dreamers in our city and in our country. The many immigrants and refugees that we have been proud to welcome into our community over the decades. I want it to be a symbol to all who see it that Lincoln has been and always will be a welcoming place for all. I hope you can embrace that and do what you can to make this particular dream a reality over the next year. So tonight I want to encourage you to keep reaching for the stars, continue to dream big, and give your support to the new mayor and the city leaders as they do their best to move our city forward. And I want Stephen Dinsmore to know, wherever he is, that I also have a piece of his that's in my office. It's about the size of these pieces in front of you here tonight. And it's a baseball pitcher. And there's nobody in the stands. And there's not much to the picture except this a little bit tired, but still feisty pitcher staring at the catcher for the signal. And the only other thing you can see in the picture is this little flag way out there in center field. And it's an American flag. And the message to me, and the thing I think of every morning when I came into the office, was for me and for you and for everybody to stay in there pitching for Lincoln, for Nebraska, and for America, no matter how tired and discouraged you may be. Thank you very much.
Please, another round of applause for Mayor Beitler. Again, Mayor Beitler, thank you so much for all the work that you've done. Now we're going to take a few moments to remember our friends in the arts communities and humanities communities who are no longer with us since we have gathered at this event last year.
Pat traveled the globe before retiring in Lincoln, where she was a docent for Sheldon, sang in the church choir, and was a fan of the Lead Center and Lincoln Symphony Orchestra. Donna was one of only a few women who owned their own business in Lincoln when she opened Donna's Crafts in the early 70s. She was a talented painter, teacher, and quilter. Sydney was principal cellist for the Lincoln Civic Orchestra and spent 18 years as a foreign language instructor at UNL. David's métier was wood assemblage and painting, and was awarded the Emerging Artist designation by the Lincoln Arts Council. Super Dave's enthusiasm for collecting art and found objects was boundless. Lou was an avid artist, a supporter of the Lincoln Artists Guild, and active in the Nebraska Arts Association. Martha had a degree in music education, but worked as a poet, author, historian, genealogist, and filmmaker with a special interest in Welsh heritage. Her research led her to discover that she was the 9th great-granddaughter of Miles Standish, the captain of the Mayflower. Elaine was a member of the Nebraska Art Association board for 10 years, and she volunteered at the Hayden Gallery. Betts worked in finance, fundraising, and operations for the Sheldon Arts Association and Museum. She was a volunteer and served on the boards of the Nebraska Repertory Theater, the Lincoln Community Playhouse, and Medici. She and her husband Larry received a Mayor's Arts Award in 2011. Gary was an art supporter and author of 10 novels, as well as many articles and newsletters. He was also a thrill seeker, touching lives around the globe. He started Nebraska Outdoor Encounter, which became the 3rd largest outdoor education program in the world. Jay was a research scientist, and in his retirement he became a painter with work in several Midwest galleries. He played several musical instruments and wrote his poetic memoirs under the tutelage of Nebraska state poet Bill Clefcorn. Gerald was a pianist and composer. The Lincoln native originated a style of song called theaterlieder, which brought together the lyrical elements of musical theater and the classical art song. His compositions have been performed at Carnegie Hall, Lincoln Center, the Kennedy Center, and other prestigious venues. Vicky was a teacher's assistant and volunteer at the Luck Center for the Arts and frequently helped with art classes at the Lancaster County Youth Services Detention Facility. CJ taught 5th through 12th grade instrumental music in Iowa, Illinois, and Nebraska. He played music with his own combo and other local bands. The CJ Hanner combo played for the Tuesday night dancers at Old Pavilion for several years. A native of Missouri, David received a music scholarship to Langston University in Oklahoma, but decided on a career in civil engineering. The University of Nebraska graduate played trumpet with the Lincoln Community Concert Band. Matt was a member of the Iowa Oto-Missouri tribe. The retired professor of multicultural studies at UNL was a captivating storyteller and member of Humanities Nebraska's Speakers Bureau. He worked on scripts for NET and was a consultant on films, including Dances with Wolves. Dell was president and CEO of several charitable foundations. He particularly loved Lincoln Symphony Orchestra and served on many civic boards. Dell was elected county commissioner in 1954 and ran for governor in 1960. Dorothy, a Northeast Lincoln legend, was a founding member of the Luck Center for the Arts. She was an active member of First Methodist, and her Sunday school class was instrumental in promoting the development of University Place Park. Patsy helped start the Lincoln Food Bank and was one of the first group of singers who started Lincoln's Sweet Adelines, the women's barbershop chorus. She was an ordained Methodist minister, taught at Nebraska Wesleyan, and was active in civil rights and women's issues. Tim was the 2014 Volunteer of the Year at the Lincoln Community Playhouse. His backstage work included follow spot, lightboard, and projection operator, running crew, and rehearsal assistant. Even when he returned on military leave, he was at the Playhouse helping strike the set. Dick retired from the Navy and was the former general manager at KZUM Radio in Lincoln. He also served on the Lincoln Commission on Human Rights. Linda was a founding member of the Lincoln's Children Museum and served as a past president. Linda worked for the Lincoln Journal-Star for 41 years, retiring in 2011 as a senior editor. She spent time as an adjunct professor of journalism at UNL. Chuck's company produced music for shows nationally and internationally, and he performed with and conducted the orchestra for Mannheim Steamroller for over 30 years. He conducted for stars like Gordon McRae, Bob Hope, and George Burns, and produced events with Quincy Jones and Henry Mancini, among many others. Gill spent 44 years at the Lincoln Evening Journal, the longest-serving editor in the paper's history. Gill was involved in the paper's successful campaign to establish a presidential primary in Nebraska, and for that effort, the journal was awarded a Pulitzer Prize in 1949. He is in the Nebraska Journalism Hall of Fame and received a Mayor's Arts Award in 2014. Harry was a self-taught musician who was adept on multiple instruments. He was the lead singer for the musical group The Moonlighters from 1965 to 1980. He and his wife Harriet entertained throughout the community, and he loved jamming with his musician friends. Sue was a volunteer at the Luck Center for the Arts for more than 15 years and was responsible for the legendary spreads at the Lucks on First Fridays. Nebraska's former First Lady, Ruth, was a writer, teacher, and community activist. She was co-founder of The Gathering Place and was involved in civil rights causes. She was the author of 3 books, a newspaper columnist, and a commentator for 5 years on Nebraska Public Radio. In 1999, she was named Nebraska Woman of the Year. Amy worked in publishing at the Omaha Journal-Stockman originally, and then at the University of Nebraska Press, where she was business manager of the Prairie Schooner. Amy made substantial contributions to many organizations, including the Lincoln Symphony Guild and Great Books. Lowell served on the board of the Lincoln Municipal Band and helped pass out programs and collect donations at the summer concerts. He volunteered at the Lead Center and as a greeter for the Lincoln Community Foundation Gardens Performance Series. He was UNL journalism graduate and established a fund at UNL for depth reporting and documentary projects. Suzanne chaired the membership committee for the Lincoln Community Concerts Association for 10 years. She was also a longtime member of the Nebraska Art Association and was docent at the Sheldon for 25 years. John taught philosophy at Nebraska Wesleyan for over 30 years and was an author, songwriter, and musician. He was a touring artist for the Nebraska Arts Council and a member of Humanities Nebraska's Speakers Bureau. He founded the independent music label Prairie Dog Music, and he was Nebraska's representative in the Kennedy Center's State Days concert series. John had an MFA from the University of Nebraska and mostly drew or painted portraits and images of toys and trains. 3 of his widely known paintings in Lincoln are portraits of Ernest Lead, Bob Devaney, and Norman Geske. Wally, retired as a major in the Air Force, was a veteran of the Korean and Vietnam Wars. He showed his love of barbershop music as a member of the Lincoln Continentals for 34 years. Mark was a Nebraska native, but the professional musician lived in New York City for most of his life, where he worked in theater, dance, and opera, and sang with the historical Riverside Church choral music program. He returned to Lincoln in 2009 and sang with the Arbor Music Chorus and participated in local theater.
Though they are no longer with us, their work and their inspiration will live on. May we please have one more round of applause for those that are no longer with us. As you may know, each year the Arts Council commissions a piece of art to be the award that is presented to the winners. For this year, internationally renowned local artist Stephen Dinsmore has created a unique piece for tonight's winners that were beautifully framed by David Clark. And now, it is time for the moment you've all been waiting for. This is where you cheer. The 2019 Mayor's Arts Award winners.
Playing and learning from other musicians is a real helpful tool, and any given Monday night we'll have musicians, my age in their 60s. We'll have musicians in 30s, 40s, 50s, and we'll also have some young musicians, college students. We'll have a number of high school band directors. We'll send their high school band students down to sit in, and they're welcome to play on the second and third set. So they get to sit in and experience that from a really young age. It's a lot of fun because it's always different, and you get to meet new people, and you get to hear some young people that really play pretty well, that make you feel pretty good about where the future of jazz is going, at least here in Lincoln, Nebraska. I work with a lot of nonprofit arts boards, and in general, having musicians and band directors make up your board of directors isn't necessarily such a good thing. However, with this particular organization, it really helps because it's so unique. The people that are involved in the board enjoy what we're doing, and they want to see it continue, and they really understand it. So it's a good group to help us navigate through the changes as needed. They always told me that I could be anything I wanted to be, and even though I still haven't really figured out what it is I want to be, they came to all my concerts, and they were just very supportive.
I would say I have two main veins of work. One that deals with culture and place and symbolic iconography from Latin America. And then I have another vein that's much more introspective and dealing with figures, I would say, primarily. And that deals with both family and condition and things like that. Those would be the two main veins that my work explores. It's a never-ending challenge because I'm not teaching a specific subject matter that has a definite answer. And because of that, because there's so many variables, it's challenging for me, and it keeps me continually mentally engaged in just trying to problem solve along with the student. It's a real honor to be part of as many different cultures as possible, and to just, hopefully make an impact one way or another on some pair of young eyes. Because it's a thing that I don't know what it's going to be. But I'm excited to see it,
I like looking at people from their features. So from my friends sitting in class, I would examine their eyes and their lips, and then I would draw them down, and then I wouldn't forget them. One of my favorite art pieces of all is one made from Pierre-Auguste Renoir, and it was a painting of a little girl. And from that painting, it just inspired me so much because of the beauty that he executed from her painting. It just pulled me in. So I wanted to make a painting that would reel someone in, like to capture their attention. If I attain my dream, I would like to go to Paris. And from Paris, I want to go to art school there. From there, I want to stay there forever, actually. I want to live there and create my art book there and be a portraiture, and also just create artwork that just inspire people. She's inspired me in so many ways that I have no words to say. Her art, herself, her words for me, her help is just so inspiring, and I just want to accomplish things for myself to make myself proud and also her proud.
The first day of rehearsal, he took me out to lunch and he asked me what I wanted to do, and I knew instantly that I wanted to work with him. His intensity, his passion, his fullness of thought about what dance was. My tenure with Bill T. Jones was learning how to combine the authentic cultish energy and the refined dancer energy. I want to be able to tell my own truth and trust that my truth will somehow allow other people to discover their own truth. You respond to the music, or you respond to the dance, or you respond to the language, or you respond to the architecture or the set. And so we really wanted to create a company that paid attention to all of those factors. There are so many people in my life that have moved me that it's like the night sky. There's not one star that stands out.
Would our winners please come on up to the stage? While our winners are making their way up to the stage, I will remind you, if you placed a bid in the silent auction, you might want to check that periodically. Also, if your cups are getting empty, you might want to check that periodically. The bars are open this entire time, and you can check your silent bid auction directly in the back there as well. Are we ready to welcome our winners? Accepting the Outstanding Arts Organization Award for the Capital Jazz Society are Dean Heist and Hannah Bell. The 2019 Visual Artistic Achievement Award winner is sculptor Santiago Cal. Sarah Wynn, Lincoln High Senior, is receiving the Youth Artistic Achievement Award tonight. And receiving the Performing Artistic Achievement Award this evening is Daniel Kubert.
I remember the first wild geese I saw. I was 5 years old, and I tried to draw a goose. I still have the original drawing, and it says goose on it, but it looked more like a pterodactyl. Anyway, by then I was hooked with watching birds. I couldn't imagine that there could be that many cranes and no one had ever written about them. Very few really realized, well, probably none, what a world phenomenon this is. It's the biggest concentration of large birds in the world for 5 weeks or so. There's nothing else like it. It's brought in a lot of money, $20 million a year in tourism, and really become a major tourism factor in the state. It's annoying because people are crowding into the areas I used to have by myself. Now I can't be alone with the cranes. Much of my life has been associated with trying to transmit information about nature, about Nebraska, about the Great Plains. I've done over 20 books on Nebraska and the Great Plains. So I think that's been a major concern, to make people realize how valuable this area of the country is and how valuable nature is. But that's a book, the book probably more than any, that influenced my efforts to somehow convert what I've seen and learned into writing. Our philosophy was
to give a lot of opportunities. Putting a lot of students on stage, they can make their mistakes and have many chances to correct them. An actor, by given nature, is like trying to catch a gnat in a windstorm. So by the time you get to a program and all the discipline that has to go with it, you get a focused gnat that can do the job that they're supposed to do. That's probably what I like about it. It certainly is not stale. Every day is different. I work closely with students, closely with faculty. So I think it's just a variety of things I get to do. Variety of plays I get to direct, everything from the big musicals to the Shakespeare to up-and-coming shows and new productions and things like that. Well, you can get over the tight budgets or the bureaucracies, which every place has, but we go in of a morning not quite knowing what we're going to come out with in the evening, and we all work to make it good. I was 9 years old and she was doing a community theater production and they needed a butler and she drugged me in and I've been in it ever since.
That jumped up the quality of the rep quite a bit. That gives students that chance to work alongside professionals, and it's really pretty cool. There's nothing that satisfies you when a class works or when a production works. I was just thinking, sitting in a theater when all of a sudden you know that the production is working, that doesn't happen all the time. The history of the theater tells the story of America. You had a real sense of what the public was thinking about in the theater. So the arts, particularly the theater for me anyway, has been a great way of looking at feeling the pulse of the country. I can't think of a more satisfying career than something that allows me to work with students in the classroom and direct plays and to continue to do research and to travel to everywhere and look and see theater. It's been a great amount of fun. We've had a good time. Dallas was the one that said, this is what is important. Getting this right is what's important.
We immediately initiated this wonderful conversation. He's a warm, open, creative human being, and so we bonded, very, very quickly. He's probably the most famous living composer on the planet. And so just having a world premiere of a work by him is going to make it an international event. Everybody's going to be interested in what this next new thing that he's writing in. It exceeded my expectations, primarily because when I walked out on stage, to give my opening comments and to thank all of the wonderful people that have donated, so many things to this event, the place was packed. And so just working with the Lead Center and their publicity engine, I mean, the people that turned out for this event really made it spectacular, and I didn't expect that many people to show up. So it was great. It's such a unique piece and everybody wants to hear it. So it's provided a lot of opportunities for me to perform the work. So it's continuing. And then of course with the recording coming out, its life, which began, last year at the world premiere, at this beautiful event, it will continue for years and years and years to come. That I've met so many people that have this divine gift inside of them of creativity, and they get it from the fact that we're creatures and that we have this creative nature that in some people, including myself, really desires to communicate to other human beings.
Will the winners please come on to the side of our stage here? Make your way on up to the stairs. Can we give our winners a round of applause while they make their way up? Legendary ornithologist and scholar Paul Johnsgaard is the winner of the Literary Artistic Achievement Award. Accepting the Gladys Lux Education Award is inspiring educator Jack Parkhurst. Tice Miller is the winner of this year's Legacy of the Arts Award. Accepting the award for Outstanding Event of the Year is pianist Paul Barnes for Celebration of Philip Glass. And as a treat, Paul and the Amore String Quartet are going to treat us with the first movement of Philip Glass's piano quintet, which received its world premiere at the celebration of Philip Glass. Please, a round of applause for Paul Barnes and the Amore String Quartet.
This works, but I believe I'm supposed to play an encore right now. When I discovered that the Pinnacle Bank had a Steinway D, my dream piano, I decided I had to play a piece that utilized its most succulent bass. So I've selected Philip Glass Etude number 6.
really did enjoy it because he helped me learn that there's other ways to do artwork than just scribbling and coloring it. You could burnish it, you could shade it, you could gradation it, and it's a lot more fun.
I like having a guest artist here because he told me all these things, gradation, things that you can do without scribbling.
I liked the guest artist because he taught us a lot of new stuff. He helped us during a lot of stuff that we he would also check on us to see if we were good, if he would check on what we were doing, and it was really fun and it was a good experience. It's super awesome how he takes his time to teach us.
I liked having a class visitor because he liked it when we made funny jokes. He laughed at them all the time when we were being funny. He always helped us when we made a mistake. He helped us tell us when to get better, how to make it better.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Payon-Casanova, and I work for the Lincoln Arts Council. Just 3 days ago, nearly 40 fourth graders at Calvert Elementary proudly led their parents down a school hallway lined with their art. It had been created over the past few weeks under the tutelage of visiting artist Owen Buffington and art teacher Amy Eller-Heiligen. An augmented reality app allowed visitors to overlay the pictures with video footage that we had taken during the previous weeks of the students talking about their art. Gradation, shading, perspective, all their new art vocabulary was evident in their work, and they spoke thoughtfully about what makes a great community in their interviews. Upstart is the Lincoln Arts Council's flagship education program, bringing arts into schools, and the Lancaster County Youth Services Center Pathfinder program. We bring enriching art opportunities to over 2,500 Lincoln children each year to empower a diverse group of youth to channel their creativity, build their confidence, and connect with others. In partnership, teachers and principals design and personalize school residencies with local art, music, theater, and dance instructors. The Lincoln Arts Council facilitates these residencies to enhance learning, and when possible, residencies follow a 3-year trajectory following the same students across grades, building on what they learn. Upstart is about more than just providing access to arts education. It bridges the gap for students with limited resources and opportunities. Students who face social and academic hurdles are provided with affirmation, becoming more likely to overcome challenges. And the Art Council puts a focus on Title I schools, schools in which at least 40% of students must enroll in the free and reduced lunch program. Students are given the opportunity for a more equitable life experience. Calvert was just one of more than a dozen schools that partnered with the Arts Council, including Pathfinder at the Lancaster County Juvenile Detention Center. The theme this past fall was persuasive posters. Artists such as Coretta Kent were introduced to students as an opportunity for them to discover how their voices can be heard in non-confrontationally. Art is ideal for this purpose because you get people to look and listen to you. Overt defiance pushed people away. Art, expressing the very same message, draws people in. The inmates' goals were to consider how to persuade others effectively. What does the artist feel is important? What are they trying to say, and how can they say it? Research has proven the intellectual benefit of arts in education, but even more importantly is the deeply genuine experience that comes from an invitation to create. The College Board's National Task Force on the Arts in Education recommends that greater access to arts education can serve as an effective tool in closing the achievement gap, increasing the number of underserved students that achieve at the highest level in education. This is what inspires the Upstart mission. You've probably seen we have art boards created by local artists that we are auctioning off this evening. Money raised helps us to run and grow our Upstart program, so please be sure to make a bid or check on your bid before you leave for the winner's reception on Capitol Terrace. Thank you.
Public Art in Lincoln is really, it's a partnership. This is the city working hand in hand with Public Art in Lincoln. That's a board that is made up of people who, they know art, they collect art, they're excited and they advocate for art. I really see our role as being supportive and helping to facilitate the great work that Public Art in Lincoln and others are doing in the community. Great public spaces should tell a story. I think great public art also should tell a story and inspire conversation. So when you put the two of those together, I think magic happens. You know, we sometimes call it sense of place, but the right piece of art in the right public setting, that's a great mixture, that's a great combination. The arts are alive and well in Lincoln, and I think this public-private partnership that really was Mayor Beitler's vision is a great way for us to be working together to kind of achieve that vision of a nationally recognized collection. If we're doing our job well, that Lincoln falls in love with these places and with some of these artworks. That's a story that had to be told well, and it had to be told carefully, and he had to be honest to Chief Standing Bearer as a person, but then also get that sculpture to kind of embody the message, kind of that civil rights story of the Chief Standing Bearer trial.
He was a wonderful man, very unusual person, very intelligent, obviously. Businessman, he operated farms. He had grown up on a farm and really enjoyed that. Always looking toward the future. He had done so many interesting things in his life, and people would ask him about it, and he'd say, oh, I don't want to talk about the past, I'm interested in the future and what's going to happen. And he was good at figuring out what kind of things were going to be important and what was going to happen. I would hope that we would make it easier for artists of a lot of different kinds to do what they want to do, what they need to do. They've got study after study after study that the people that are in bands and orchestras and choirs in school just routinely do better on all kinds of standardized tests that have nothing to do with music. But it's good for you, and it's, you know, it makes people happier, and there's nothing wrong with that. It was just fascinating to me, the connection that they could make with these young people that are out there at the youth center. And I could imagine what it would be like to just have nothing to, I mean, everybody needs to be creative. I would really recommend anybody that wanted to help with a project like that it is just amazing what they've done. One of the smartest people I have ever known, and one of the nicest, and just, you know, did what he could for people, was wonderful having a life with him, and he's left me a wonderful, wonderful thing to do now.
These kids had already been in school all day long, and they needed to have a different way to take a look at this program. So that's why we partnered with an artist here who was creative and were able to develop within these after-school programs creative concepts that actually would reinforce what they had learned during the day.
I feel like you can get a lot more across with art. Art gives access to all the senses, so you can touch, feel, hear, and you'd be amazed at the kind of conversations that we have while we are doing art. I think it's really about teaching kids about empathy in their community, and I really think at this point, if we want our city, our community to be a better place, we need to start with our youth, especially in junior high, learning about simple things such as caring beyond yourself.
There is nothing difficult about it. It allows them to express their creativity, and I think that she's been able to develop almost a sense of trust in the children, and I think that's vitally important. The Second Step curriculum, the partnership with Lincoln Public Schools, has been just a tremendous opportunity for us at St. Elizabeth and CHI in general to do something special for the community and make a real difference. I saw people's reaction to her and essentially how people revered her in the community. And have that kind of respect and integrity, I think, is just a very special thing.
I look at some of those moms with special needs kids. I think, wow, there's some warrior women who are superstars in everyday life who don't get an award, but man, they're gonna get a star in heaven, I'm sure.
Both those opportunities came to us because of our track record of being able to attract other businesses and create that kind of community space that people really want to be in.
What's the perception and what's people's experience as they're coming into the shop is really important to me. The Innovation Campus store was, of course, the most challenging because it was a brand new building. And so looking at that one and walking into a big gray glass space is so non-mill that we were challenged by how do we make that warm so people would want to come in. And the spaces are very large, and there again, how to make them divided, connected, yet intimate.
For us, it's the community, the sense of inclusion, the respect that we give our staff, that our staff and we give our customers. It's that everybody's welcome, everybody's important type of thing. We make great coffee. I'm really proud of our products, but I think it's the atmosphere and the staff that really sets us apart from everyone else. But he said, if you don't have pride in what you do, you have no business doing it. He was adamant about giving back to the community. He never went anywhere empty-handed. He always had a loaf of bread with him or some cinnamon rolls or something. He was just super, super genuine.
He's an awesome partner. He's super supportive. He's embraced all of my children. It's been an awesome relationship and an awesome ride so far.
Please, another round of applause as our winners make their way to the stage. As our winners make their way up, please remember your silent auction number might have changed. If you need to go back and check it, I recommend you do that. Also, the bars are still open. Feel free to grab yourself a drink, your partner a drink, refill, whatever you need. Lynn Johnson, Director of the City of Lincoln Parks and Recreations, receiving the Art Scene Backstage Award. The Pearl Francis Finnegan Foundation is recognized for being benefactors to the arts. Accepting the award is Foundation President Leanna Sandine. The Lincoln Community Foundation Arts for Kids Awards is given to the St. Elizabeth Foundation and project artist Anna Alcalde. Now, Tom Houston will be presenting the Emerson Urban Design Award. Tom is a member of the Urban Design Committee and chairs the jury which selects the Emerson Urban Design Award winner each year. The committee includes Margaret Berry, Tom Laging, Bob Ripley, Gordon Scholes, Ed Zimmer, and Stacy Hageman.
Thank you, Dwayne. As Dwayne said, I do serve on the Urban Design Committee. I'm the token lawyer on the committee. Everybody else knows a lot more about design than I do. The jury met in November of 2018 and came up with the following recommendation. Through the 2019 Anderson Award, we recognize the Milk Coffee and Tea and Bistro for enriching the urban environment of Lincoln, its 4 locations. Haymarket at 8th and P Street, College View on Prescott at 48th Street, Nebraska Innovation Campus, and Telegraph District. Their establishments have served to catalyze each district in which they are located, from the Haymarket in the 1980s to the Telegraph District in 2018. At each location, they have attracted a clientele spanning a wide range of ages, fostering social interaction in their Hanson coffee houses and bistros. Good urban design strengthens a community for all residents and visitors alike, as demonstrated throughout Lincoln by Dan and Tamara Sloan of the Mill.
So taking this, very well done, impressive still life painting from art history and putting it on a Red Baron pizza box that I just had lying around. So a kind of similar, this is like my analog version of the way I kind of think about experiencing art, especially online. Fine art can be really intimidating, but if you put it on something that's instantly recognizable, it becomes a little bit less so. I think that humor can be really serious, actually, in a weird sort of way. My experience of this masterwork from art history was contextualized by this weird sitcom that I watched growing up. I am really interested in Lincoln as an arts community. I think there's a ton of incredible organizations and people here making incredible things that belong, you know, could go toe-to-toe with any artwork anywhere. All of my initial or earliest artistic experiences were at love signs in the back of the shop, seeing the way things are put together, seeing what incredible technique looks like.
It's a good way to have an immediate response and to sort of, you know, throw whatever you're doing out there and have it as like the most authentic, most raw moment that you can have with it. I think you kind of feed off of each other. If that's probably cliched, but it's good to have a push and pull and to just probably actually the biggest thing is probably just a sense of community. It's good that people are out there doing it. I don't know, I've always just been interested in storytelling. That's always been an important part of my life. I think anything you do, you maybe want it to, you know, stick with them, whether they know it's with them or not. So maybe when they're washing dishes, you know, they're not even thinking about it, you know, consciously, but kind of in the back of their mind, they've got that, you know, and that might inform how they interact with people throughout the day, how they perceive things. You know, without the sun, none of us would be here having these conversations right now, I guess, so.
It gives people an opportunity, especially if they're traveling alone, to have something to do, and gives them somebody to talk to about Lincoln. So I mean, there's always something to talk about with Lincoln and the hotel and with his or her art. So just makes the experience better for a guest. If they like an experience, it's more than just staying in a hotel. These days they want to either take a piece home with them that they've helped create or just a piece that the artist has made, and gives them something to remember Lincoln by. It takes a little while for them to get acclimated to the hospitality industry. They're used to, for the most part, working in their studios on their own, and here they're in a studio where guests are interacting with them, and associates are in there all the time, visiting with them and watching their pieces come to life. So the artists really love it, and the year flies by, and they really hate leaving by the end of March. We're very happy with the program, and hope to have an artist there for many, many years to come. He's really invested in the arts in his community in Milwaukee, and just really thrilled that he wanted to bring that opportunity to Lincoln as well. So he's our hero.
Can we please have one more round of applause for our winners? And will our winners please come up to the front of the stage? We recognize 2 artists selected to receive the Kimmel Foundation Emerging Artist Awards. Now, I've got to explain what's all in this. Along with the prestigious award, the Kimmel Foundation is sponsoring a 2-week artist residency in Nebraska City at the Kimmel Harding Nelson Center for the Arts, plus a $1,000 stipend for each of these winners. We're so proud to partner with the Kimmel Foundation as they invest in local artist development. Please, a round of applause for both of our winners. First, receiving the Kimmel Foundation Emerging Visual Artist Award, John Love. And selected for the Kimmel Foundation Emerging Literary Artist Award, Daniel Zeberg. And accepting the Mayor's Choice Award for the Lincoln Marriott, Susan Watson. Now I'd like to welcome up the Executive Director of the Lincoln Arts Council, Deb Weber.
This evening we have one final award to present, the Heart of the Arts.
One of the things that we have loved so much at the Arts Council is the way that the mayor seems to understand the arts holistically. He knows that the arts are important for children in schools, that people enjoy public art, that it inspires them. He understands that the arts create civic engagement. So I think that he is the whole package when we look at the arts, which is a major support for our community.
We now call it Public Art Lincoln. It's been a great success. We've placed a lot of pieces around the city, and I'm just very proud. We're well on our way to being a world-class art city, and the thanks for that goes directly to Mayor Beitler. He's transformed this city into a real center of art, into a place that people want to come and be with the art and look at the art. He's just provided great leadership. The arts are tough with the public at times. Sometimes pieces are hard to understand. Sometimes the context is hard to understand, and it takes real leadership to see that the end result will be there and to bring it about. And Chris has done that. He's had some criticism, but if he knows it's right, he knows it's the best thing for Lincoln, he'll stand up and fight for it.
When you look at how the city has changed in the past 12 years, it's very obvious that the arts have been elevated as an important economic generator in our city, and also just as a way to really make a better life for our community. Thank you, Mayor Beitler, for being our star of the arts.
Mayor Beitler, Chris, I just want to tell you from my point of view, you're the star in the Star City. Thank you for everything you've done for Lincoln and for the arts in Lincoln.
On behalf of the Lincoln Arts Council and former Mayor Don Wesley, we congratulate Mayor Chris Beitler. Do you want to say a few words? No. Thank you, Mayor Beitler.
Can we make some noise one more time for Mayor Beitler? All right, arts friends and family, the prizes are out, but the silent auction is not over. If it's been a while since you've checked your bids, make sure you head to the back. Each one of those art pieces will be gone by the end of the night, and you want to make sure you can proudly take one home with you. So go on over, place yourself a bid for the next 10 minutes. We'll keep it open, only 10 minutes. So bid silently, but aggressively if you can, and you get to go home with a piece of art. Also, our party isn't over either. Upstairs on the terrace, we'll have our winners reception, so please join us as we get to reconnect with each other. Also, you get to watch the winners movies again on the huge cube on Canopy Street, which is awesome. There'll also be full artist interviews online in a couple of weeks, and this event will air on LNK TV thanks to the work of Diane Gonzalez and Jamie Wentz. Can we give them a round of applause? I'd like to say a big thank you to all of our sponsors one by one: Emeritus, Pinnacle Bank, Union Bank and Trust, Farmers Mutual of Nebraska, Dish Restaurant, Premier Catering, all the staff at Pinnacle Bank, and our individual award sponsors and Mayor's Arts Award supporters. Can we give everyone a round of applause? Thank you. Again, my name is D. Wayne. I'll see you upstairs. Thank you so much for coming to the 41st Annual Mayor's Arts Awards. Have a great night.